Well, here we go again, folks. Today, we've got something that'll put hair on your chest, make your mustache grow a little thicker, and probably get you a few tickets along the way. Yep, Ford's gone and done it. They finally brought back the Boss 302 for 2026. And let me tell ya, this thing is just about as rowdy as a three-legged mule on a hot summer day. Now, before we crack into the details, let's take a minute to appreciate what the Boss 302 even is. Back in 69 and 70, this was the Mustang you got if you wanted to go road racing. Not just a straight-line bruiser like the big block cars, but a high-revving, corner-carving machine built to take on the best of them. Fast forward to 2012 and 2013. Ford brought it back with the Coyote engine, a trick suspension setup, and a side exit exhaust that made noises only angels, or maybe demons, could love. And now, well, Ford's decided to slap the badge on a brand new Mustang, and they didn't exactly hold back. Pop the hood, and you'll find what might just be the nastiest naturally aspirated V8 Fords built in a long time. It's still a 5.0, but don't go thinking this is the same Coyote you'll find in a rental GT. Nah, this one's got all the goodies. Titanium internals, a wild cam setup, and a screaming redline somewhere north of 8,000 RPM. They're claiming 550 horsepower, which is plenty enough to get you into trouble. But it's how it makes that power that really matters. None of that lazy low-end torque. This thing wants you to wind it out, grab gears, and hear it sing. Now, what's a Boss 302 without a proper transmission? Well, Ford knew better than to go soft on us, so they stuck a 6-speed manual in it, complete with a short throw shifter and a clutch that's got just enough resistance to make your left leg stronger than your right. If you're one of those folks who prefers 2 pedals, they'll sell you an automatic. But let's be real, this ain't the car for that. This thing was built to be driven, not just pointed in a direction and left to do the work itself. Underneath, you've got a whole mess of suspension trickery. Ford raided the parts bin from the GT3 race cars, slapped in some adjustable coilovers, and even threw in a trick rear diff that's smart enough to figure out when you're about to do something dumb before you do it. Magnetic dampers come standard, so you can have it nice and comfy on the way to work, then crank it to full send when you hit the back roads. It'll stick to the pavement like a cat on a hot roof, but don't think for a second it won't slide around if you ask it to. Now, the looks. Well, they didn't exactly go subtle with this one. Big ol' front splitter, giant rear wing, stripes that scream, "I probably rev at stoplights," and enough vents to make a cheese grater jealous. And, of course, it comes in all the right colors. Grabber blue, competition orange, and a black on black setup that makes it look like it just escaped from some outlaw racing league. Ford even brought back the hockey stick stripes on the side, just so people know exactly what they're dealing with. Inside, it's got just the right mix of modern and old school. Bucket seats that hug you tighter than your grandma at Christmas. A proper gauge cluster that actually shows useful information. And just enough tech to keep you from complaining, but not so much that it ruins the fun. No giant screens taking up the dash. No gimmicky fake engine noises. Just the good stuff. Now, all this goodness don't come cheap. Ford's asking a pretty penny for this one, somewhere in the $65,000 range. But let's be real, people are gonna pay it. And then they're gonna pay more when they wreck it, fix it, and do it all over again. But that's what the Boss 302 is all about. It ain't a garage queen, it ain't a status symbol. It's a driver's car, built to be wrung out, pushed hard, and probably sideways more often than not. So, what do we think? Well, if you've got the cash and the skills, this thing is just about as good as it gets for an old-school high-revving, corner-carving American muscle car. If you don't, well, start saving. 'Cause this is one you're gonna want in the garage. Just maybe keep a few spare tires handy. You're gonna need them.